Okay, so it's been 4 weeks since I left off with the mini cut. I promised I'd do an update after about a month, so that's what this video is for. However, if you're new here, if you didn't see the previous few videos about the mini cut I did using some unpublished research out of USF, this video will make no sense. So I'll put a link in the description to the playlist. You can go check that out and then come back and then finish up the series with this video. But anyways, to give you a final update for this series, honestly, things have been pretty off lately, and one of the big reasons I do want to make this video is one of the biggest things many people struggle with is feeling like if you get off plan, if something comes up, if you have an injury, get sick, whatever else, that everything's ruined and you're gonna lose all your muscle and gain everything back. But I just really want to make sure you understand that is not the case, and I'm hoping this video will ease those concerns. So anyway, when I left off with the 2-week post-diet period, I was at 2,700 calories. I decided to increase my calories for the first week after that up to 2,750, so a 50-calorie increase. And not a whole lot to talk about for this first week. It went well. I roughly maintained my weight. I even actually saw a bit of a decrease in my waist measurement by about 1/8 of an inch. And as a whole, stuck to my plan pretty well, which brings me to the next week, which if you remember the last video, I talked about how I had a long weekend planned at Disney, and I was planning on just having lots of fun and enjoying some fun foods and going around Disney Springs and Epcot and having plenty of drinks, and pretty much was just gonna live it up and just be okay with it. So knowing I was gonna have plenty of extra for those few days, I didn't make any increases to my target calories, left them at the 2,750, and I quite frankly actually banked up a couple hundred calories the few days before going to it as well as afterwards, which is why you actually see my calories from the previous week being a touch low, because I did kind of borrow from the week before a little bit as well. So the week as a whole was obviously a bit off. I didn't get weights when I was gone, but after getting back and the following week coming up, I decided to just go ahead and make a 50-calorie increase to the previous 2,750. So now I'm eating 2,800 calories per day. And as you can see, by the end of the week, my weight did spike up a bit from before the Disney trip, so up a little over a pound. And my apologies, I don't know what happened. I just completely spaced on taking the waist measurements, so I don't have it for that week. But either way, it's all good. No big deal. Like I said before, I was going in knowing that I was probably gonna have more. I might gain a little bit of weight. I'm just okay with that, and that's a big thing. Anytime you decide to go and just have more fun, you have to make that decision, be okay with it, don't freak out when you get back, and just get back on plan. And honestly, everything was good at that point. I was feeling pretty good. I was hitting my numbers. I was getting my training in. Everything was fine. But then the fourth and final week for the post-diet period is when everything went downhill. Unfortunately, I got really sick. I don't know what's going on lately. I swear, I've been more sick the last like 6 months than I swear I had been the previous 6 years. So it started with a bit of a sore throat, and then it just gradually increased into a very bad sore throat, a bad cough, lots of fatigue, feeling really run down. So not only no workouts, but basically no steps. I was averaging like around 1,000 steps a day. So while I had planned to increase my calories by 50 for that week to get it to the 2,850, which if you remember, that was actually the calories I was consuming before my mini cut even started, so I'd gotten them right back up again. But I definitely didn't eat that much during being sick. One, just not as much of an appetite. With my really sore throat, I just couldn't eat much other than soft foods, and quite frankly, with missing all that activity, the fact that I was about maybe 200 or so calories below my target probably works out pretty well in terms of the energy expenditure that I would normally get that I didn't get, so it probably was around my rough maintenance anyways. Protein was a bit low. There was like 4 or 5 days there where I had only around 130 grams versus the 170 I'm shooting for. Not a big deal, especially for just a short period of time. So I only got a few weigh-ins for the week. I don't know about you, but I'm just the biggest baby when I get sick. Like, I don't do anything. I was hardly able to do my job. I had the previous video that got released last week had been recorded for like 2 weeks. I just couldn't get myself to sit down and edit it. I was just wiped out. So even the thought of just weighing myself in the morning just felt like so much work. But I did get a few, and the weight actually did come back down a bit. So 179.6-ish, and of course some of that could just be reduced inflammation from not working out and everything. My waist measurement was up a little bit, about 1/8 of a pound from the 2 weeks prior. But with that being the end of the 8 weeks I was gonna monitor here, that leaves me sitting about 3 pounds down from the start, 1 full inch off my waist, and calories basically back to where they were before I even started this thing. At this point, it really is just about getting healthy here. I'm on the mend. I'm starting to feel better, but I'm dealing with so much fatigue. So I'm gonna give my body a little bit of time before I jump back into the gym again. Once I do, I'm gonna ease back into things and basically treat that first week kind of like a deload week, leaving a few reps in the tank, a bit less volume. A mistake a lot of people make when they get really sick and they miss time, they kind of freak out. They try to jump right back into their previous routine and just destroy themselves. And one, the body just can't keep up because it's still trying to recover. Two, you jeopardize delaying that recovery, or worse, making things even worse and setting yourself back. So don't jump back in too hard after being sick. Ease back into things. That's my plan. But the big message I did want to relay home with this video is, hey, I was off from my Disney trip. I got off being sick. Things aren't going so great here. I'm not making the progress I'd like to make, but that doesn't mean everything's ruined. Muscle is very resilient. It is hard to lose, and even if you do lose it, it comes back very fast. Muscle memory is very real. So you don't want to freak out if you miss some time. You don't have to worry about feeling like you screwed everything up and everything's ruined. It doesn't work that way. We got to slow down. We got to relax a little bit and not get too caught up in it. It sucks when it happens. It's annoying. It's irritating. I would much rather be making progress right now, but it is what it is, right? Like this stuff is going to happen. You're going to have vacations. You're going to have illnesses. You're going to suffer injuries. These are all things that are part of the process, and we got to learn to deal with them. But I promise there's nothing you can do to screw everything up. And really, I mean, if you look at my pictures, if you look from before the cut even started to the end of the 4-week period to now the end of the next 4 weeks, you probably don't really even notice much, if any, of a difference in these pictures. And that's the message I relayed home in the last one. You just don't want to get so caught up in feeling like there's going to be this massive difference from a handful of pounds or whatever it may be. Nobody else is going to know or care, so don't put too much pressure on body image, body weight. It's great to have goals. It's great to try to improve yourself. But if you get too caught up in this stuff, it's going to take what should be something that adds to and improves your life, and it makes it absolutely miserable. And that all happens because you put too much pressure on the result, especially the speed of the result. It's just so important to focus on enjoying the process, understanding that it needs to be a lifestyle and you have to do this stuff forever, and it takes all that pressure away. Now, circling back to going on a vacation, or I guess holiday, depending on where you are in the world, there's no right or wrong way to handle things, and there's a lot of different options you have. And I actually have a video you can check out up top here that covers many different strategies you can take, the pros and cons of any approach, and hopefully that will help with your future travels. Hopefully you found this series helpful. If you like something like this or something similar, just let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas, and I'll see you in the next video.